Hello, everyone. Good morning, and it's a good time to be doing the live stream. That is because the Nifty index is seeing a meaningful correction today, and I was watching out for some interesting data points, so which we'll discuss in the next few minutes. Uh, those are actually pointing out that maybe the correction in the Nifty index in the short term could be getting over. So uh, does that mean that a short-term bottom is made? Not sure about that, but at least a bounce could be in. We can end up seeing some sort of bounce. So let me not waste time because there are many interesting observations that are there today, which I want to share. So yes, the first one is that. So let us just look at the Nifty index and its chart first. When you see the hourly chart, it is interesting. That is because the Nifty index is trading was trading in a channel. Okay. And so far, it looks like that the channel is breaking on the downside. But when you look at the other indicators, okay, which is the daily swing indicator and so on, these are all suggesting that maybe this breakdown that we are seeing over here, okay, this could be a false breakdown. Now, how do we confirm that this is a false breakdown? So, for that, we will need a positive hourly close and the prices should move above this channel. Okay. So, the upper end of the channel is say somewhere around 25 to 40 or 250 levels. Okay. That is where it needs to sustain above that. Then there is a possibility of it probably going higher towards the upper end of the channel, right? But as I mentioned, I mean, the lower end breaking, there might be some sort of panic in the market, thinking that it's a breakdown and we might reverse. But when we look at the sentiment indicators, okay, so these sentiment indicators are extremely helpful when we try to judge whether the short term bottom is going to occur or no. Okay. Uh, so it does not necessarily mean that prices might not fall further, but all it means is that maybe at least in the near term you might end up getting a bounce. It will lead to some sort of bounce back in this indicator. Okay. And then maybe it can again fall. Okay. So that is what we are headed in. And it is not just the daily swing indicator, but there are multiple other indicators also that are highlighting that, and I think that is worth discussing today. So see, one thing that I have been following is that we first and this, I have even made it very clear in the webinar as well, that see, sentiment, be it sentiment indicators or be it any technical indicators, okay, these are all your helping hands. Basically, these sort of indicators helps you to understand or give us the warning that some sort of turnaround can happen, okay, either on the upside or on the downside, depending on whether what levels are being. So the sentiment indicator seems to be suggesting that at least the daily swing indicator, which is indication of a short term tops and bottoms, that could be indicating that in the very near term, okay, in the very near term we are getting into the oversold zone. So there is a possibility of a pullback that we can see. Now, how durable is that pullback is something that analyzing on the hourly chart will will help us know that. But as I mentioned, see, the Nifty index, basically it is in a channel and it is falling. Okay. The least that you would expect is that whenever the hourly positive close comes and it basically moves above the channel which I mentioned over here. Okay. So at least what may happen is that there might be a pullback towards the averages, and maybe after that it can fall down. Okay. So this is what the swing seems to be indicating, that even if you're bearish, maybe this might not be the right time to go ahead and short. Maybe at least wait for a pullback if you think that the breakdown is in place. Okay. So what might happen is that there will be some pullback over here, and in the meantime averages will also come down and then it can again go down. Okay. So this is what swing seems to be suggesting. And as I mentioned, I actually think that maybe somewhere over here the bottom can occur. The reason being is that, as I mentioned, see, for to know whether bottom is going to occur or it is just a bounce, for that you need to know what the trend is. Okay. For example, you can see over here when it was in a downtrend. Okay, there used to be minor pullbacks in between. That used to be pullback till the averages, and then it again used to fall. Okay, so when you are in a downtrend, ideally the moving average will act as a resistance, and the stocks and the index will keep falling. Okay, in these cases what will happen is that any reading around 80 or 90 will act as a resistance, and maybe over there you might want to look for a shorting opportunity. But when the prices are above the moving averages, and the moving average is trending higher, that means that the trend is bullish. Okay, so when the trend is bullish, what you have to do is that whenever the swing reading comes to the lower end, okay, that's where possibly a very short term bottom can occur. Okay, those bounce can also last just for 1 or 2 days as well. Okay, but in that case, what will happen is that you might end up seeing some meaningful pullback, say a 200, 300, 400 point pullback, depending on how large the previous decline is. Okay, so in this case also we saw that the hourly averages are somewhere around 25 400 or so, which suggests somewhere like a 250 point kind of pullback. Okay, so that can happen, and that too, then you have to monitor swing also, how far it has gone. At least if it comes towards somewhere in the middle or something, then we can say that at least the oversold conditions have gone by. And then we have to look at the early setup, as I mentioned. So over there, if the averages are there, it can resist, and it can again go down. But as I mentioned, I mean, over here the trend is up, so ideally I would look out for a durable bottom, and maybe even a new high after that. Okay, so this is daily swing. Apart from that, in this sort of sideways correction, Nifty might have barely corrected 500 point, which is 2%. But the FI positioning has once again, for a brief while it had gone to around minus 35,000 contract, but now it is again back to 85,000 contract. Okay, and what we have seen in the past is that whenever these sort of level comes, okay, we end up getting a major bottom only, right? So this was the only time where it exceeded this, but otherwise you can see that whenever we have seen these sort of levels, there has been a nice up move that we have seen. So this is another indicator which works from a medium term perspective. Okay, the daily swing works from a short term perspective, but the swing which works, I mean the FII positioning which works from a medium term perspective, that is also sort of suggesting that we might be coming towards the lower end. So now the way to put it is that, okay, at this point the risk of the upside is a lot more than the downside, because already there is a lot of shorting that is being done, right? And apart from that, the OIPCR also has been trending down, and it has gone down. So I mean, broadly, if I see all the things, it is suggesting that the market mood right now is bearish. Even if you see the diffusion indicator, okay, the percentage of stock with RMI buy, okay, this is also mainly like swing, works from a very short term perspective over here as well. If you plot the moving average, we usually use a 40 exponential average. Okay, so if I change it and if I put it to 40 over here, now again you will see this only happening, that if it is above the 40 and we are getting this oversold reading, there is a high probability of a pullback. Okay, and this is also now trending down and almost coming towards that lower line. So yes, one thing is possible, that maybe if we have to form a major bottom, then it might pull back to these levels, and only then it will pull back. So that part we need to be open for. But maybe given the current mood of the market, the idea should be to look out for a reversal. And for the reversal, as I mentioned, it should be basically, trying to move above this lower end of the channel, which right now it seems to be breaking on the downside. Okay. So a move above, say, 25 to 40, that can lead to some sort of strength, or some sort of bulls making a comeback in the market. And of course, then all you need to monitor is that even RMI should go into buy and so on. So those will be those additional factors of confirming that actually a major bottom is done and now we are headed higher. Now, the second important observation, which I had made a short video yesterday, but was of IT stocks, where most of the IT stocks have seen a massive shorting, okay, including TCS. So, what is happening now is that, the shorts have reached to an extreme level on the upside, okay. You can see over here that, see, whenever the open interest has rose higher, I mean, whenever it has risen higher, so you have seen that there has been a pullback in the open interest. That means basically beyond the point, open interest cannot go higher. Let me put it that way. Okay. So what that level is, that we cannot say it, but whenever it reaches, some sort of extreme on the upside, you have to be prepared that the OI is gonna pull back. Okay. Now, when we analyze over here, what has happened is that there is a massive shorting that we have seen in TCS. Okay, even over here, when there was some minor pullback in TCS, that's where the OI came down. But now again, there is a massive shorting that is happening. So the idea over here is to look out for the reversal levels, because see, I'll tell you what is happening. I mean, I was trying to analyze TCS, so that time I realized when you do the weekly chart, okay, when you do the weekly chart over here, you can see that the bands are tightening now. Okay, so maybe a pullback till here is possible, but then if at all we end up seeing a positive weekly close, at some point in next week or coming weeks, I would expect that a major decline is sort of over, and now there is a good chance of a up move that can happen. Okay, for that, what I will look out for is basically, prices moving above the averages. And this is something that I have seen also in Infosys. Okay, even if you see the Infosys chart, in this decline there was a lot of open interest that had OI built up that we had seen. And now again, this is sort of coming to some sort of extreme. Okay, its actual extreme is at much higher levels, but then what I would expect is that if at all Infosys result does not disappoint, okay, it does not disappoint, then we can see these shorting that we have seen in Infosys. Okay, like you see over here. So from here to, in fact, till here, there has been a massive surge in open interest. Okay, and when this pullback has happened, there has been some unwinding. So not complete unwinding has happened. Okay, so that's where it can go either ways, frankly. But purely looking at TCS, which is the major in IT, over there the OI is getting to a very extreme level. So that's where I somehow feel. I mean, I have seen this pattern time and again. I mean, you see it in Reliance also. It can take some time for the reversal to happen, but it will eventually happen. That is something I am very sure of. So you can see over here, Reliance open interest. Okay, this you can see right from the start. It had made a new all-time high. Okay, so over here in 2015, that's where somewhere over here eventually a base got formed and then a major up move happened. Over here as well in Reliance, the OI peaked over here. Then when the selling happened, the OI was completely getting covered, which means that the shorters are now actually looking to unwind, and eventually, a stock like Reliance saw a 15-20% kind of up move. Okay, so I think something like that in TCS can happen, but we need to basically wait for the price action also to confirm. So as I mentioned, either the break of this trend line or moving above the averages, something of that sort should happen. If that happens, then it can be an indication of a medium term bottom as well, right? Because purely because the open interest is very high, so almost everyone is short in this stock. Okay, let me put it that way. Now one might argue that for every buyer there is a seller and so on, but we usually look at from the price perspective. When the prices are going down and the open interest is rising higher, so we are saying that the short build up is happening, and that is why the prices are going down. So at some point of time this unwinding has to happen. I mean, this is something that I'm very sure this is going to happen. Now whether the unwinding happens from here, or it goes over here and then it happens, or while making new low the open interest cools off and it doesn't, and all the short sellers actually look to cover their position. So what form and shape it can take is something that I'm not sure, but this stock would surely be worth keeping on your radar, especially because the OI has sort of reached an extreme. So that is there. And as I mentioned, Infosys also has meaningful shorts. See what happened in Wipro and TCS. So I was checking the OI for all the IT stocks. Okay. And what happened in Wipro was that there was a massive shorting that had happened. Eventually, the shorts got covered when this pullback happened. Now, the concerning part is that in this decline, again, there is some surge in open interest, right? So you need to watch this very carefully. Okay, we are breaking this trend line. So if I have to think that maybe there can be reversal in TCS, but if at all someone is betting that IT is going to break down or it can fall further, then maybe TCS might not be the good one, but maybe something like Wipro or Techem, where there were shorts, those got covered, and now fresh short positions are being built. Okay, so this is where, if at all the IT fall has to happen, okay, then it has a lot of room on the upside in terms of open interest. But say for something like Infi or TCS, there is not much room that is left on the upside. So yes, I mean, that is how you can do. Even if maybe someone can also do a pair trading based on this, but you have to keep some levels in mind, because see, these are all medium term trends usually that I've seen that occurs. Even in ITC, say for example, when a huge short built up had happened, okay, when it was around these sort of levels, so you could see that eventually in the next 1 or 2 years, all the shorts got wiped out and the stock gave a big move. Okay, so I mean, usually the short covering rallies are very powerful. So that is why when the stock is seeing some sort of extreme in open interest, okay, that's where we need to respect it and be prepared that at some point of time a reversal can occur. Okay, so I think these were the two important observations that I had. If at all you have any questions now, I can take it. Okay, so there is a question from Nishan. OI is combined of PE and COI. No, Nishant, this is basically future OI. Okay, so you can see that these are only for futures. So when I do, say for example, TCS, this is the built up that is seen purely in the stock futures. Okay, if you want to see what is the OI for TCS in call and put option, so you have to hover over here, go to options, go to strike OI insights. Actually, this was a good question. I forgot to highlight this as well. So TCS, when you see, oh, now we are seeing some sort of unwinding, because when I was checking it in the morning, it was somewhere around 3,300, and there was some uh, positive this thing as well. What do we say? Positive OI change as well. But now, there seems to be some short covering that is happening. And actually, what is strange is that 3320 put is gaining open interest, which is higher than 3300. So need to see what is happening over here, and whether by the day end also, this 32 33 3320 put writers, are they staying firm or no? That needs to be seen. So when you have an open interest which is at extreme, and even the OI which sort of suggesting that maybe we are near the support level. Okay, so this might make someone nervous, 3300 put unwinding, but a little bit of encouraging part is 3320, which is seeing some sort of addition. But also one needs to keep in mind there are almost around 11 lakh contracts at 3300 call as well. So 3300 is first a major hurdle that needs to break on the upside. That's where the shorters which are being shorting today, who are shorting today, they might feel a little nervous, and then that's where some minor short covering can happen. But yeah, I mean, futures will tend to show you the medium term trend. Okay, and so that is what I was trying to highlight more. Yeah. So Kiran, actually, we are already working on indicators to bring them down to 1 minute. Okay. The last candle close will be taken care once we go live with 1 minute. It might take a little time, maybe 2 weeks or so, but yes, I mean that will be covered. So that's where right now only the live one would be working, but last candle close, please bear with us for some time. That will be fixed once we go live with the indicator module. Okay, how can we add Nifty all index? Kindly show if feasible. So right now, see, what we have done is that we had put few indices only, I mean, which were important at that point of time. So please remember that, that we had done this in 2023 towards the end. So that's where we tried to bring this important indices. We have to add all the Nifty defense and all which has got recently listed. For that, we might have to think of a new design altogether. That is because there are over hundreds of index. If we put over here, it will be very very difficult for the user only to spot where are these index and all. So we are thinking over it, how to make it in such a way that it becomes user friendly for y'all as well. Okay, so we will address this one. Okay. um, Aditya, I am new to the stock market and have taken a yearly subscription. How to take advantage? So, Aditya, good question. See, firstly, I would strongly recommend that at least start with positional first, because when you do positional, there you have reasonable amount of certainty because time is on your hand, right? In intraday, time is not by your side, so that's where you need to be very agile and very proactive in taking decision. So positional is something that you might want to see, at least you might want to start with. And what I would suggest is that go to help section over here. Okay, look out for the videos. Okay, see, in everything the concept is the same. Okay, if you see the daily chart, it means you're looking for 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks kind of time. If you're looking at the weekly chart, you're looking at 3 to 5 months kind of view. And if you're looking at long term charts, it is more like 1 year. I mean, if you're looking at a monthly chart, it is 1 year and above. So for you, Aditya, especially, look at how to find the tops and bottoms in the Nifty index. Look how to use RMI. Okay, also you can check out how to use heat map and find which are the outperformers. Valuation setup, so these four would be extremely helpful for you. And also look at the rollover analysis. So what I just mentioned a while back about how to interpret the future open interest, okay, which I showed you, say, of TCS. And what does it indicate when the open interest is reaching an extreme. So all those sort of things are actually covered in this video, okay, of the rollover analysis. So you can go over there. Even RRG can be helpful. Strike over insights is for very very short term. Okay, it can be from 2 day to 7 day perspective. So I would recommend that first you go through these sort of videos. Avoid strike or insights for now. Once you get a hang of it, once you start doing well, then you can move to the lower time frames and try to trade on that. So that would be my advice. uh, Operation manual is available of, if yes, where can I get? So, as I mentioned, Gurdeep Singh, you will see a lot of things in help section. Whatever are the unique features that we have made, we have put it over here. Other ones which are common, we haven't put a video for that, because those are actually the common ones, and you might also get some stuff on YouTube as well. But you can see it over here. Also, in webinar, sorry, in the learn section, there is something called as how to use Strike platform. It is a 9-minute video or so. You will get all the features over here as well, and you will get how to use Strike. You will get some help about that as well. In case you're still not able to understand, please raise a ticket. Someone from our team will call you and help you how to use Strike effectively. How to get charts of future and future Y? This is the question by AK. So to for that you have to go to futures, go to OI interpretation. Okay, this is where you will end up seeing the chart. So there are some indicators that we have given it upfront at the top. Like OI, volume, delivery, if you want, basis, like how much is it away from the spot, cost of carry, like in percentage term, what is the difference between the spot price and the future price. So all this we have given it over here. Apart from that, you can also add the indicators from the trading view library as well. Okay, but to answer your question, go to futures, go to OI interpretation. That is where you will get this. Okay. Thanks, appreciate the explanation. Yes, we are working very hard on that. There are some transition that we are making, due to which sometimes something is breaking, and that is leading to some sort of delay. But we are working on that, and hopefully by this month end we should be able to put all the screens to the 1 minute delayed data. Okay. Hiren, thanks. Is this website free? So, Hiren, once you make an account, you will get a 7 day free trial. Okay. After the 7 day free trial, uh, uh, the charges are there. So for that, we have kept a very retail friendly pricing as well. So once you go to plans and billings, okay, you will have 1 month for 650, 6 months for 3600, 1 year for 5600, and so on. Okay. So by default, you will get a 7 day free trial, but after that, these are the charges for the plan. Zydus OI works. Why OI different works? I mean, why OI indicator works different on Zydus? It shouldn't work differently. Let me just check. Zydus Life. So let me remove the volume. So, so fine. I think I understood your question why this is happening. Now, please understand, when the OI is up, what you need to understand is that whether it is a long built up or a short built up. Okay. In case of TCS, what was happening was that the prices was going down and the open interest was rising higher, which means that short built up is happening, right? In case of Zydus Wellness, what is happening is that when the prices are rising higher, the open interest is rising higher. So that means when it reaches a peak OI, so that's where the longs are getting unwinded, and because of that, you are seeing a correction and a long unwinding as well. Okay, so that is why. Now, please, see this again. So actually, this is a good, interesting question. Now, see what has happened over here. Prices are rising higher, open interest is rising higher. Okay, eventually open interest unwind, because these are mostly long. This is all long unwinding that is happening. Okay. After that, even in the last stage over here, in this up move, open interest is rising higher, and that is where eventually long unwinding is happening. Now, if you take the case of TCS, what is actually happening is that prices are going down and the open interest is rising higher, which means that shorts are over here. So at some point of time, short covering should happen. Okay. I hope you understood the difference between Zydus and TCS. Why interpretation of M&M? So yes, see what happened over here was that around this point, okay, that's where actually the open interest surged almost to the highest level. Let me see if it was an all-time high. Yes, it was an all-time high. Okay, and you can see that major short built up happened when this fall happened, right? And after that, in the pullback that we saw, there has been some covering, but more or less, I would suspect that there is some bit of shorts which is there, but actually, I would not give so much importance over here, because this was the play over here. Surge in open interest, eventually it has to unwind. It has unwinded by a pullback that we have seen. Okay, even if you see the pullback, that pullback also was, say, from how much? This was 20, say, almost around 2700 levels to 3140 kind of level. Okay, so that is like a good 10-12% kind of up move that we have seen. So now, more or less, what we are seeing is that some sort of, uh, I mean, over here it is more or less neutral only. See, in this leg of correction, there was hardly any open interest build. So right now, you just need to keep it on the radar, what is happening. And in fact, I would feel that when this range breaks on the upside, maybe there are some bit of shorts which might have still not covered. They may go for a short covering, and plus it might also lead to some long built up as well, because the breakout could be happening. So people might be building position on the long side as well. So you can get a blend of both short covering plus long built up. And that's where I think maybe this range needs to be broken on the upside. Then it can get interesting. But until then, I think it is sort of trendless, and uh, OI at least will not be helping. We might have to take help of some other indicators to know what is happening. How to make it full screen? So, AK, there is something over here, full screen mode. Once you do that, it becomes a full screen. You press an escape, you come back to the same screen. Uh, Tukaram, yeah, we had given this install button, but right now, because we are updating our entire system, so in this install button, some screens are not getting updated properly. That's why. So I mean, we have disabled this button, so the people who have installed earlier, they can see it. But once our system is fixed, and we move completely to 1 minute, we will check everything whether it is working in this exe version or no, and then we'll again enable it. But to be very honest, I think web is much more helpful. That is because you can open 2 to 3 tabs at the same time, right? And you can analyze everything just by doing alt tab. In exe, you might just have just one tab to see. So say for example, I am over here, and in this I am looking at the nifty chart as well. Okay, so I can do this analysis both at the same time. So web is actually more helpful in that sense. Kindly. Yeah, so M&M I have already mentioned, Anuj. I hope, yes. So that's an confirm. Is it same for Hind Copper? Let me see Hind Copper. What is happening? Actually, Hind Copper. If I'm not okay. No, it has been listed for quite some time. So I don't know why there has been this abnormal surge in open interest over here. But basically, what it seems to be suggesting that over here actually long built up has happened, due to which we saw a very sharp surge, and actually in this fall, it is unwinding. So actually, this is the problem with some of the illiquid stocks, that you might get this irregular spikes. Try to analyze these on the liquid stocks. That's where you might get a lot more firm view of what is going to happen. Else, in these kind of stocks, you might just get these spikes. And always understand and always remember to analyze open interest with price action. Okay, if open interest is rising higher, prices are rising higher, that means it is a long build up. Okay, so then if it's a long build up and it is reaching an extreme, then there is a fear of unwinding that can happen, which can drag the prices down. Okay, so please keep this in mind. Okay, all the open interest that are higher is not necessarily short built up. So please look at the price action and also see what the OI indicator is doing. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for joining, everyone. We have also exceeded slightly past 11:30. So we'll as I mentioned, we'll try to make this as a regular feature, and we'll try to meet more often. Usually the timing should be the same at 11 o'clock. I hope you found it insightful, and join us for more such updates. Please follow us on Strike also. We'll give all this update, whether we are going to do this StreamYard. I mean, we are going to do this webinar live or no. So you will get it over here, and once you follow Strike, you will be able to see it right at the top only. Okay. So yes, please do follow us on Strike and get the regular updates as well, as to what is looking interesting. Actually, this TCS thing was something I had made a small video yesterday as well. So you can find all these interesting insights that we put out on Strike page. That should help you to get some sort of sense as to what interesting things are happening. Okay. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone. See you tomorrow.